So I just rewatched Captain America Brave New World, aka Falcon 1, and it might just be one of the most disappointing movies that I watched this year. Now I first saw this movie in February, when it came out, and as a big IMDb user that I am, I knew that this movie was bad, and that people hated it, but I still went there with a fresh mind just to enjoy this movie. Anyways, halfway through the movie I almost fell asleep. One of the reasons why this movie is so hated is probably because people love Chris Evans' trilogy too much, and we can all see that they were made with passion and for a reason. These movies are actually important if you want to watch the Avengers movies or other ones. But this movie feels like a big mess. Like generally after leaving the cinema I was like, so what was the plot of this movie again? I bet the writers when they were writing this movie were like confused because they ran out of ideas for what Captain America can do, and because of this, Captain America doesn't feel like the protagonist of this movie. The writers didn't give Sam Wilson a lot to do, so for the entire movie he just flies around with his wings and beats some people. This movie feels more of an Incredible Hulk sequel, aka the Hulk with Edward Norton, which I didn't even know that they were in the same fucking universe, but alright. It's such a shame that this is Sam Wilson's first movie as Captain America, and yet they still didn't focus on his story and his character development. I found a lot of people, including friends, saying that one of the reasons why this movie is so ass is because it includes politics, but it's Captain fucking America. He is supposed to be political, like it includes politics in his actual name. You can see America, see? But I'ma give them an extra point because the politics in this movie are shit. Harrison Ford, who plays as the President of the United States, is so afraid to say anything or to even declare any statement, which is kinda weird because he turns into a fucking monster. What really shocks me is that in the end, Harrison Ford turns into the Red Hulk, which is supposed to be the breaking point of this story. But the writers decided to show us in both trailers and poster that Harrison Ford is the Red Hulk. This was supposed to be the biggest surprise in this whole movie, and yet they decided to spoil it for us. I literally don't understand why. If they wouldn't have spoiled it for us, then this movie would have been just a little better. It really annoys me that him being the Red Hulk is the plot of this movie, and he doesn't even last long. One of the only things that I liked about this movie is actually Harrison Ford. Like, he played so good of what he was given. He is definitely the best character in this entire movie. When this movie started, I actually had some fun watching it. It started with a cool battle scene, some funny moments, and it was quite entertaining. Then, a few minutes later, Isaiah tried to kill the president for some reason, and then he tried to escape, which was cool, but from that point on, nothing becomes as interesting as in the beginning. Everybody learns very quickly that Isaiah was innocent and that something controlled him or some shit, and he just doesn't do anything like the whole movie, till he eventually gets out of there. Another thing that I find really annoying is that they included Betty Ross into this movie, which doesn't help with the story at all. It actually makes the story so much messier. A lot of people don't like Sam Wilson's character, but I don't hate him. I actually find him as an enjoyable character who was written by the script. In the first 3 Captain America movies, there are a lot of amazing moments and lines that made Steve a really cool character. Like, we can see that the writers were messing around with his storyline and his character development. But here, Sam is kinda goofy, and he isn't really energetic to fight, and they made him say a lot of jokes around the movie. Like, whenever he talks to some of his friends, it just feels like he's a teenager, which I don't really mind, but it just doesn't fit in this movie. Now, I know that I'm going to be weird for saying this, but this movie looks shit. The colors, the statues, and some action scenes look awful. Like, even the poster for this movie looks awful. Just look at this shit. Blech. Now, I don't think that this movie is one of the worst movies in the MCU, but it's just not enjoyable. It has a weird plot and it just feels like the writers are scared to do something with a black Captain America. I'm definitely going to forget anything from this movie in a week. It is such a forgettable movie, so I'm giving this one a 5 out of 10.